Welcome back, everyone. So we are here at Bass Lab Studios with another Touch Bass, this time with a very special guest, Ama Louise.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. So we met a couple years ago, like right at the beginning of your music journey.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited to catch up with you because you've done so much since. So we just want to hear basically like everything that's happened over the last couple of years and how you've got to this place now. So I feel like we should start from the very beginning of like when and why you became an artist.
Well, I feel like a lot of artists that I speak to, they decide from super young, or like they're like, oh yeah, I was playing the piano when I was like 2 years old, and I always knew I wanted to be a musician. And I'm like, oh, I wish I had that, but like I didn't. I always loved singing, and I always like would just sing around my family and stuff, but I never knew that I could do it as a career. And like I went to uni, I was like going down the academic route, and then my friend said to me when I was like, I would say it's quite late because I was like 20, and then she was like, my friend was like, oh, your voice is so good, why don't you just sing, like why don't you just write some songs and put them out? And I was like, it was like a penny dropping moment, like I was like, oh, is it that easy? And then like that day, like we were just going on Instagram finding random producers, and then it all went from there, like that day. And then it was like, oh, what's your name going to be? And I was like, well, my name's Ama Louise, so it's just going to be Ama Louise. And then, yeah, we just started going to like random sessions, and I started writing songs, and then it felt really good. And I was like, actually, I love this. But I was still at uni at the time. And then when I released my first song, I think I kind of just realised, okay, this is the path that I'm trying to take. I don't want to go into a corporate job. I don't want to do anything else. And then, then I had to like break it to my dad. That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah. So what did you actually study at uni? Like what would your alternative career path have been?
I was studying geography.
Okay, cool.
Because, well, I studied because I didn't quit. I got my degree. Because I really liked it at A-level, and then I was like, well, I don't know what else to do. It was almost just like a...
You had to go uni,
yeah,
so you
it was like a whatever,
like
I'm just going to do geography and see. And then when it got to the end of my degree, I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't really want to go out into the real world yet. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to stay on and do a teaching degree. So then I learned how to teach geography at secondary school. And then I did like placements at secondary schools, and that was funny.
That's crazy. So it does, it sounds like, you know, like a lot of us who come from families who like put a lot of pressure and expectations on like what we're going to do when we grow up. How would you kind of like describe your family and like your upbringing and the challenges that you've had to kind of like take the leap into becoming an artist?
Well, I'm not going to say they're not supportive. Like they're the most supportive, loving family, and like I always had such a good upbringing, and they like my parents made me love music because like so I'm half French, and we would drive to France like every summer, and it was like long drives in the car, and they'd always be playing CDs and like but there were only 3 CDs to choose from, so by the like after a couple of years I learned all the lyrics. Words. It was like Whitney Houston, Celine Dion and the Fugees, and like Lauryn Hill. I was like, what is this? And I loved it. And like Whitney Houston, obviously I was just singing in the car. And then obviously my mum was like, oh, okay, like she's got a good voice. She'd make me get up at every family event and like, you know, like just the entertainment. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna sing now. And like karaoke she'd make me do. And it was, I loved it. But I feel like that's like when you're like pre-anxiety stage. Like I was like maybe like 10 or before that. Then it was like secondary school. I kind of lost the singing a little bit. But yeah, my family were they still are super, super supportive. But like telling them, my dad's from Ghana, and telling him, oh, I want to do music, he was like, what? She's like, yeah, you can do it as a hobby, yeah. But like, get your degree and get your job. Don't be silly. I was like, I'm not being silly. Like, I'm going to do this. And I think at first it was like, he couldn't really get his head around it, but then he started seeing that I was actually doing it. Yeah. And then obviously with like this, he sees the success of Send Your Lovin', and like he sees all my TikToks, he sees all my Instagram stories, like he sees everything, he sees the support and that, and like now he was never not supportive, but now he's like super supportive, and I think he's more accepting of this is what it is. So my mum would just she doesn't care what I do. She's just like, she'll support anything. So yeah, and my sisters, they always love my music. The thing with my sisters is though, I send them any kind of song and they're like, this is so good, and it's not.
So you're like, so you want the feedback,
I want the honest feedback, but they're just like, this is so good.
You want them to be A&Rs basically.
Yeah, but they just love everything I do, so yeah.
That's so sweet. So what would you say, you know, you said, talking about when you're younger and how you just had like a natural passion for music, and then obviously you get a bit older and there's a kind of anxiety that kicks in. What would you say your biggest fears or like hesitations about becoming an artist were beginning?
When I was like in secondary school, I still loved singing, but I would always, like, I would never take pictures on my social, like I'd delete social media all the time. I'd always cover my face in pictures. Like, I don't know, that was just a thing. And I wasn't confident to like just take pictures and post. So I was like, well, I can't be an artist because that's what you have to do. And then just naturally over time, I got more confident. And yeah, I think the biggest challenge is confidence and like not caring what people think. Because I used to care a lot about what people think, but now I don't care.
So that's like your motto, like, don't care what people think.
Can't.
And
you
just
actually
go
can't.
ahead.
If you want to be an artist, you can't, because there's so many things that will hold you back. If you care what people think, you'll never do anything. So yeah, that's my motto.
So who would you say in your music journey, like especially at the beginning, when you kind of like did you have like kind of like connections in the early stages, or
no
so
I
yes,
actually didn't.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have anyone to speak to, really. We just figured it out. Like, me and my best friends, they're such a big support system, and they helped me with everything. And like, we would just do #producer on Instagram and like scroll through and see. And like, you learn as you go. Like, I've learned so much myself without anyone else's help. And it's scary because you make a lot of mistakes, but you just figure it out. Yeah.
So would you say like the people that helped you the most were like the girls?
Definitely.
Yeah.
The girls.
Wow.
And they still do. Like, my best friend, she's so creative. She always helps me with my content. She takes the best pictures of me, and it's like having like a team, but like not a official team. Like, it's just a natural team. And my other best friend, like, she's just always creating plans for me and like, what's your strategy? What's this? What's that? She's like business minded. So yeah, like, my girls are so important in my journey.
So you created a YouTube series called Acoustics with Ama. How did that come about? Like, was it whose idea was it? Like, how did you make that come into fruition? Because like, I'm such a advocate of like starting your own passion project, or like being proactive in your own career journey, whether it be music or like art or entertainment, like whatever it is. I always feel like 2024, we have the internet, we have social media, like everyone should be like making moves to get themselves out there. So I feel like when I saw your YouTube, I was like, wow, this is not like, a lot of artists haven't got this like in the early stages of like having a channel, having a proper setup, and like obviously having other musicians to work with. So how did you go about creating the acoustic show?
So the acoustics, I love acoustic performances. I love stripped back versions of songs. I love just singing with a guitar or a piano. And at that time, I wasn't. I'm still not releasing as consistently as I'd like, but at that time, it was like one release a year. So I was like, what can I do in between the releases? I was like, well, maybe I could just do a YouTube like series, and it's actually Brian that helped me with it, to like fill in the gaps, or like to give people some singing content. And also I started my journey by doing a few covers on Instagram and stuff, so I was like, why not make it a bit more official and do covers as Acoustics with Ama Louise, and like get my YouTube channel. But I must say, like, I haven't forgotten about it, but I haven't posted an acoustic in a while because things have just been so busy, but I do intend to continue it.
I think it's a lot to do a YouTube channel, like, you know, especially when you've got other people involved, like there's a lot of like things that needs to be organised to actually go ahead. So exactly. I can imagine. So you did that, and then your first single, Unworthy, 2021. How did it happen? Like, how were you able to get that single out, and what were the kind of like issues you came across, or like what was the journey with that single?
It's actually funny because I hate that song. Like, I'm so close to taking it down, but I have to remind myself that the first song I released, and like it's part of the journey, it's part of who I am today. I think on Where We Came About, because I was at that point, I had maybe decided that I wanted to sing for maybe a year and a bit, and I was like, oh, I still don't have a song out. And I knew that I loved R&B through and through. Like, I wasn't going to make anything poppy, or like, I wanted it to be old school R&B. Like, I love that sound. And I met these producers. They're a duo called Anti-Wave, and they like made this beat in front of me, and I just loved it. And then kind of started writing to it at home, and then I was like, yeah, this is going to be my first single. And then I just recorded it, but I still didn't know what I was doing. Like, I recorded it. My friend that I mentioned made the cover art.
Okay,
yeah, she like graphic designed it. She's like self-taught as well. And when it came to like mixing and stuff, I had no clue. I didn't even know you had to mix a song. I just found someone, and he did it, and then he sent it to me. I was like, I don't know how it should sound, but I'm guessing, yeah, this is fine. And then released it. Didn't know how to promote it. Didn't really know what I was doing. So like, yeah, it was my first song. And
so what, even like on the admin side of like actually releasing a song, getting a Spotify account, all of this stuff, like was this just you literally figuring it out?
Yeah, trying to know, like Google how to release a song. Like, there's obviously websites like DistroKid and Ditto that you create an account, and luckily you upload your song and they distribute it, and through that it makes you an account. So that's how I got an account for everything. But yeah, I had to learn everything on the internet.
I'm just like so blown away that you've been so proactive, like right from the start.
Thank
And
you.
it's like, it just really shows that like hard work does pay off. And I think so many people like are either not patient in those beginning stages, or like they come across like a bit like something that seems a bit hard, or like they don't know, and they kind of like give up at that point, or they kind of say, oh, like this is why I need a manager, or this is why I need like a team. So I feel like, that testimony of you actually just being like, do you know what, I'm doing this, I'm committed,
you have
I'm
to,
going to make it work.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, you have to just do it. And also, once you say you're doing something on social media, you can't just like not do it. You know, like I can't say, oh, I'm going to be a singer now and put it in my bio and then not like follow through. I just have to follow, the heart.
So then you had like 7 months between the first single and the second single.
Yeah.
What happened during that time, and why did it take you like a bit of time to release the next one?
That was No Angel, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm asking you. Life, work. Like, people don't realise being an independent artist with no team, it's literally just you and like your friends, and there's no one paying for you. People don't realise how much studio costs, how much beats cost, how much a mix costs, how much the like making a song. Yeah, cool, you can sit in your room and make a song, but actually like releasing a song is a whole different thing. And I knew that I wanted to have like do my first music video, so I had to save up for it. Like, I had to spend a lot of money, and it's my own money, and just, of course I would want to be like have released sooner than that, but just life, like I
so
tried.
were you working like full time?
Working full time. At that point I think I was still teaching, so that was taking it out of me. Like, I'd get home and I was like, music's not in my vocabulary right now. But yeah, and also I'm very big on like not releasing just to release. I want to love the song, and sometimes it takes me a bit more time to like find like the song that I want to release. Like, and it took a while, but we got there.
You got there. So like, what would you say kept you motivated in that time, or what was the turning point of actually being like, I'm going to focus on getting this out?
Yeah, of course, I think after like 5 months I was like, okay, no, I can't let this go on any longer. But once I had heard that beat, I was like, I love this, it needs to come out. And then I think I wrote that song really easily as well, and it kind of just, it was quite fast. Some songs are like faster to write than others. And then I found someone who did the music video, like who was going to do the music video with me, and then I was really excited. And then I was like, okay, we need to get this out and like continue, because if one song's stopping you, you can't release the rest. So you have to just
What would you say your favourite track then so far has been, in terms of the process and the sound?
It's between So Weak. Oh my god, no, I might have 3. Can I talk about
of course, yeah.
Okay, I loved So Weak because I loved the beat the most, and then I loved the music video the most because it was the funnest music video ever. And I think it was my second music video, and Brian again helped me to get this guy with this vintage car, and I was like, I have this idea, I want to do it at a beach. And we found these amazing videographers called Don Prod, who are massive now, and they were like, oh yeah, we know a beach. And luckily, like, the sun was shining. I got all my friends in this van and we went to the beach and we shot the most fun music video ever in this vintage car and on the beach, and it was just the best day. And I love how the music video came out, but I also love the song. It's like me, it's like such a me song, I can't explain it. And then Can't Leave You Alone is another favourite one because I actually had another singer, like I hadn't done a collab yet, but I had another singer called Daniel Merriweather, who is an Australian singer, and it's very random, but I met him through a friend, and he actually has a song with Adele, and he asked me to, like, he was doing his first show in London, and he was like, oh, do you want to open my show? And at this point I had never performed, but anyway, that's how we met, and like we stayed friends. And he's got such a soulful voice, and when I made Can't Leave You Alone, I was like, I need someone to like do the choir background male voices, and I was like, oh, Daniel, can you help me with this song? And he's like, yeah, of course. Came to the studio, and like watching him record, I was like, oh my god, his voice is ridiculous. And yeah, he just like made the song so much better, so I love that about that song. And then Send Your Love In is obviously like my top favourite, obviously. Not even just because of like how well it's done, but because I love the song itself. And like when I heard the beat, I was in love with the beat. And then it just came quite easily, like the chorus was quite easy. I was just like humming, and I was like, oh, I like this. And then now it's my favourite. It wasn't my favourite when I wrote it, but now it is.
Love that. So it sounds like you've met some like really great people in your journey so far. Like, how would you say your networking journey has been? Like, has it been quite organic, or have you had to do quite a lot of outreach yourself? Because you said you haven't got a manager, so how did you go about like finding producers or meeting new people? What was the kind of process to help other people kind of like be proactive with that?
That's a good question. I'd say it's like 50-50 organic versus reaching out, or people reaching out to me, like people I didn't know. So like I have quite a few friends in the industry as managers, or people like just around artists, or just other artists friends, and that's like through social media. Like, social media is the best tool, and it's good because when you don't have a manager or a team, you can just reach out and say like, can I have your advice on this? Now I know quite a few A&Rs and like people in the industry. It's very helpful. And the other side of that is like, when you have a song that does well on TikTok, a lot of people reach out, and then through that you meet a lot of people, A&Rs, and carry on building a relationship and having them on social media so they know what you're doing, and like, you know what they're doing, and you can reach out, oh, I've got a new song coming. So like keeping that relationship, but also my best friend, the one that takes my pictures, I know, honestly, she's like every part of this, but she made me like a PR email, and nice. She emails brands for me, and like recently she got House of CV to send me like anything I wanted, really, and like she did a lot of the networking for me, so that's another thing. And then events, meeting people in the flesh is so good because it's so much easier. Because then it's like how we've met, like we met in person, and then now like the relationship's there. So or like going up to people like that you see and you maybe recognise on social media and introducing yourself, then they remember you. But yeah, I like meeting people in real life much better than social media.
And I feel like, so you said you did use social media as a part of the networking, and obviously I feel like, you know, the better your social media is, the easier it is to reach out to people, get responses, and people engage. Did you have like a specific social media plan to build your socials, or like how did you go about like getting good content and being consistent with it? What was the strategy?
So I can't say like I'm the best at social media, because I'm definitely not. And when I first met you, I remember us having this conversation. I was like, I'm trying to grow my social media, but it's so hard, and like I don't know what to post, I don't know how to do it. And even like after I met you, I released a song maybe like 2 years on. The song before Send Your Love In was a song called Girls Trip, and at that point in time I was really demotivated for like the whole music life thing. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this.
No one could tell online.
Exactly, it's all smiles. I was literally like, I don't know if I want to do this, because I had this whole plan I was going to Marbella with my girls, like, and this was in like April, and I was like, okay, perfect, I'm going to write a summer song about this trip, and I'm going to release it in summer. But life happened again, and I had a writer's block for like months, and I couldn't write this song, but I had the idea, I just couldn't write it. I finally wrote it, and it finally came out in September, so that's not even summer anymore. So I was so like, what's the point? Like, what is the actual point? And like, I felt like people weren't listening, and I tried with TikTok. I put it out there a few times, but it wasn't really getting any response. So then after Girls Trip, that was in September, and I didn't really write that much. And then I did Send Your Loving, and I sped it up, because TikTok loves the sped up version.
I love the sped up version.
Thank
like
you.
It sounds so good.
I think sped up makes everything sound better. But I sped it up, and actually I had just written the chorus. I hadn't actually written the whole song. I was like, let me just see. So I put the chorus on TikTok, and it didn't really get any reaction. Like, for like I maybe posted it 3 times, and it got like maybe 300 views. And I was like, okay, fine, like people don't like it. And then randomly I said to my friend, I need to go on holiday, like I need a break, because I'm like mentally I just don't even want to do music anymore. I'm so demotivated. And then when I was on that trip, because also I'm still working full time, and I was working full time, so I didn't have time at work to think about music. So I went on this holiday for literally 3 days, and I was like, we had like a pep talk. It was like I need to be serious. I was like, I need to start looking at other artists' TikToks and seeing how, like, not just like posting every day, but what to post and what trends to follow. And I was like, let me make a plan of what I'm going to post. So I made like a 2-week plan of like a TikTok a day, different trends, like videos, photos, everything, like literally everything. So I started on this holiday doing little videos with the sound again, and maybe first couple of days still nothing. And then on the plane back to London, I was like at the airport, I was like, oh shit, I didn't post my TikTok today. Like, and I was like, oh, this doesn't even matter anyway, but I didn't post it. And then I quickly posted it, got on the plane. And then when I landed, I saw my best friend text me. She's like, I'm so happy people are recognising you. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then I went on TikTok, and it was on like 5,000 views. I was like, wow.
Well done.
I was so happy. And then by the time I'd like left the airport and gotten home, it was on like 10k. And then like literally the next day it was on like 100k. Every day it was going up and up and up and up. And that video is now on 1 million views. But that video like changed everything, because my followers overnight went up. Like people started commenting like, when's this coming out? I was like, wait, what? Like, it's not even written. I was so stressed out. Anyway, I don't know if that's like for another question, but I could go into that. Like,
really good story, because I think some people sit there and they're like, is there a point of actually planning social media? Like, should I just be organic and just post whenever? But I think it shows that like planning and having strategy will always pay off. Like, it's hard work.
I saw a tweet, this man tweeted, I posted every day for 2 months and it got me this many followers. And I was like, you can't actually do any worse by posting it. Like, it's only going to grow, I feel like. And then also, that was like before the release. And then leading up to it, I posted so much. Like, I didn't even know I could have it in me. And that's a big thing of not caring what people think. Because you have to be really like cringe on TikTok. Like, you have to not care, because if you care, you'll never do it. It's really embarrassing to be on TikTok.
So do you feel like TikTok's become your favourite platform, like over Insta?
Yeah, because Instagram's more polished, and like everyone wants to look perfect on Instagram. You don't really want to embarrass yourself on Instagram, but TikTok, you can like make these embarrassing, silly videos, and like it's almost like you're hidden.
There's like a flood of videos. So it's just like
I don't know what it is, even though probably the same people on my Instagram, but I feel hidden, and like it's a safe space to do like the embarrassing trends. I feel like it's more acceptable, and everyone does it. So I was like, okay, let me just post my embarrassing trends and like keep posting, keep doing, like throwing myself out of my comfort zone. Like I did a Get Ready With Me in French. I did like talking videos for the first time, voiceovers. I didn't know what I was doing, but yeah, it paid off.
Yeah, it's really paid off. So, okay, we've talked about like recording, social media. you know, how you figured out your music videos and your artwork and all these things. In terms of live, like how was your first live experience and how did you land that opportunity?
Yeah, so the first live, like actual first live performance ever was an open mic performance at Box Park. And I was so scared to do that, but that was the moment I said to myself, you can't be an artist if you don't want to sing in front of people. That's not how it works. And I was like, what's the most uncomfortable thing you can do? And that's an open mic. As in, no rehearsal, no sound check. You literally just get up. And I was so scared. And it was like in this room, and there was actually quite a few people, but I saw the other artists before me and I was like, okay, it's not that bad, it's not that bad. And I did actually drink a bit too much before, and I was a little bit tipsy. So it was just it was quite a bad performance, but like it got me in front of people, and that experience of like, sorry. That experience of like singing in front of people, that's all I needed to know that I could do it. And actually, I don't know if you've heard of this singer called Charlotte Plank.
Yeah.
She was there that night doing her first...
She's like drum and bass vibes.
Yeah,
so yeah.
And she's doing so well. And she was there that night doing her first, like, well, one of her gigs or whatever. And yeah, it was nice because I met a few people and I did my first singing in front of people. And then like shortly after, maybe like a month or so, Daniel, who I mentioned before, it was doing a London show, and he actually said, oh, can you do Adele's part on my song with Adele? And I was like, oh my god, like, are you sure? Are you really, really sure? He's like, yeah. Actually, better yet, why don't you open the show? And I was like, that's insane, of course, like, thank you so much. But in my head, I was like, I don't know if you know what you've just done. Like, I've never really done this. And I like prepped as much as I could. But again, I had no like vocal training or like, it was really
throwing myself in.
And I remember getting there on the day, I had my own little dressing room. It was in like central London, had my dressing room. He was so nice. And then got to open, and I was opening with a guitarist. So it was good because I could sit down. I was shaking like a leaf. Like, I don't know if people could see it, but my foot was like on this thing and it was like slipping off. I was like, oh my god. And I just like, get through the songs. I forgot my words. I was shaking like this. Like, it was so scary because there was like maybe like 300 people. But I saw my friends in the front, and it was good to like get that experience. But when I look back at it, I'm like, wow, I've come such a long way. Because like since then, that year I did maybe like 4 or 5 more shows. And then the year after, I actually didn't do any shows.
As you said, Latitude, your first ever festival.
Yeah.
Like, how are you feeling after that? What
Honestly,
was it like?
Crazy. Like, when I thought like last year about this year, I never thought, oh, you'd be doing a festival. Like, doesn't matter how small it was, like it was a festival. So when I got an email like a couple months ago it was like BBC Times Latitude Festival, I was like, what? Like, it was insane. I was like, wow, like a festival. I was like so scared that like my first thought was, oh my god, a festival. And then me and my friend were like, what are we going to do to prep? Like, how are we going to prep? We started going to the gym to get our stamina up. I was like, I can't even climb stairs. I need to get fit. We started going to these fitness classes. And then I met someone that really kindly like is helping me get some vocal sessions with the most amazing vocal coach called Josh. And he's like, his thing is called Mad About the Voice. And he does like Flo, and he does Ray, and like he does like really good singers. So he's intense, by the way. Like, when my first session with him wasn't even a session, it was like an assessment. And he was like, I'm going to assess you and tell you, like, if you're good enough to be my student. Not like that, but like, he was just super, super, like, intense, but amazing.
He's levels, basically.
He's like top. And I knew that I have to work. Like, he's not going to take any nonsense. Like, you go home and you do your exercises, otherwise don't come back, because there's no point. Like, the lessons are just like 10%, and then your work at home is like the other 90%. So I've been like taking it seriously, doing my exercises every day. Like, he's like helped me get a stronger voice, like better technique. But all of this was like in preparation for like my stage presence and like singing, because also they gave me a 40-minute slot. I've never sung for 40 minutes on stage. Like, that's like, I was like, what am I gonna do?
So did you do like covers? Like,
I was like, I need to fill in the time. I don't have enough songs to fill out 40 minutes. I was like, look, I'm going to choose some covers that people definitely know to like get them on side. but like it took me ages to finalize my set list because I was just scared, and I wanted to do some like acoustic versions and some normal versions, and like put my new song in there as well. So yeah, I did this set list, and then like there were loads of forms to fill out, and again with no team and I've never done this before. It was really overwhelming. Like I didn't know if I had done everything right. But then everything went smoothly on the day. Like they sent me my passes. It was so cute. I drove down there with my friends. It was in Suffolk. It's like a 2.5 hour
Is it
drive.
like your first ever time that you went to Latitude?
Yeah. I hadn't been to Latitude. Obviously I've been to festivals, but I've definitely never performed. So like going backstage and having my own dressing room.
Just all new.
It was all new and it was so nice, and it was like, and also the type of festival it is quite like relaxed vibes. Like it was like in a forest, like a massive park, and my stage was actually like quite small, really like comfortable, intimate. Like people had like sofas to sit on, so I wasn't like expecting that or used to that, but actually like it was a nice vibe, but a challenging crowd, I would say, because I'd say like my crowd would be at like The Recipe or Wireless or like an R&B tailored event.
Focus crowd,
This was more like, I don't think R&B was their main genre that they wanted to listen to. So I could tell that people didn't really get it sometimes. But I chose like covers like Luther Vandross and like John Legend. So like, please. But
everyone knows it,
yeah, at least I had my friends and family. They were like stood up in the front. I was like performing to them. But yeah, actually like it went really well. It literally like as soon as I got on stage, it felt like it went like this. And then I got off stage and I was like, oh my God, it's done now. Like all those months of like worrying about it. But it wasn't, I had nothing to worry about because it was fun, and it was fun. And like people came up to me after and they were so nice. And yeah, it was just a good experience. Like I can't wait to do more.
You've just done so well at like you said, getting out of your comfort zone, like getting past your perfectionism and just like going for
just
it.
Doing it.
And you went with BBC, so because you've done a BBC interview before.
Yeah.
So was it like the kind of the relationship was from there before, or like
so
how did that happen?
With BBC, they have BBC Introducing, which is like for upcoming artists, and by the way, like for artists, always upload your songs onto BBC Introducing, because that's how BBC will like no issue, and if they like your song, they like distribute it to your local BBC. So like mine is 1Extra and like Radio 1 and whatever, because it's London. And I think I put Send Your Lovin' on there, and they picked it up, and like it was played on 1Extra as their song of the week.
Amazing.
So it was on everyone's show, which is insane. And so like a lot of the producers reached out to me and stuff. I had 2 interviews on 1Extra. I had one with VMAC and one with DJ Target, and I had to perform it on air twice. That was so scary. And then since then, like I've just built this relationship with them, and then with the Introducing team, which is really weird. But one of them, we go to the same nail shop. Her name's Jess Izzat. So my nail guy also told her about me, and then I walked in one day and she was sat there, and I was like, oh my God, like, you're on BBC? She's like, yeah, I know about you. I'm going to play your song next week and all that stuff. So we started chatting, and I think like all those connections, somehow they like chose me to represent BBC Introducing, as well as like a few other artists. But yeah, I was so happy.
Love that.
So, yeah.
So I've kind of like left Send Your Lovin' to last. As you said, it's now become like your favourite song, and I'm sure like so many people who are going to watch this, it's going to be theirs too. This song has just like done so much good for you, and it's just like, I think probably what you've been waiting for, like in your journey so far. And then obviously like a huge moment to have, I hope I'm saying his name right, Tayc.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, I thought it was Tayc.
Yeah, me too. I did too.
But yeah, I just think that is just like a full circle moment of like, especially like your French side and like tapping into that market. And just like really kind of making the music that I think you, when you started this, set out to make.
Literally.
So I think like I think I saw that you released that through Graduation.
That one was with Alamo Records.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
The remix was with Graduation.
With Graduation. Okay, cool. So how has it been like working with labels? Because you're not currently signed to a label, are you?
No.
And just like, yeah, how did that collaboration come about? Obviously, I know it's an incredible song, so I'm not surprised.
Thank you.
But yeah, like, why was it specifically him? Like,
yeah.
Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, so with Send Your Loving, obviously I teased it for a long time, longer than I had wanted to. But like I said before, the song wasn't written, so I had to write it. And at the time that I started doing well on TikTok, it was coming up to Christmas time, and all the A&Rs that were reaching out and stuff, because obviously when something's buzzing on TikTok, A&Rs do reach out and they say like what are your plans and what you're doing with the song, and like you start to have a lot of conversations, and they were like, well, don't release it now because it's Christmas and everywhere's shut, like Spotify closes.
So like Mariah is releasing, no one else can release.
Literally that, like don't release at Christmas. And I was like, oh no, everyone's like commenting saying when's it coming out, and I was getting stressed out because I didn't have a date, and like towards the end it was really stressful. And then I said, okay, first week of January needs to come out because everyone's asking, and then people started commenting like, we don't care anymore.
People actually said that?
Yeah, we don't care anymore, just like have your song. And I was like, oh my god. And then like me, I'm a really like anxious person. And I was like, oh my god, they hate me. And that's why I was trying to post like different content and do as much as I could. And I finally got like a pre-save link, and I finally put it out. I was like, okay, here, have this. And then it came out, and it did like, I had such a good reaction. And maybe like a couple weeks after it came out, I saw Tayc had DM'd me on TikTok, and he was just like, oh, how you doing, or something like that. And I was like, by the way, like I'm half French, and like I love your music. I have a cover of his on my SoundClouds from like 5 years ago, which is insane. And then I actually sent him my open verse challenge of Send Your Loving, and I was like, imagine a French verse, because I was just asking him to do like an open verse. And then basically he agreed to do a whole remix, like just like organically, like no one else was involved. It was just, he liked the song. And I met him that week actually, because he came to London and we had a session, and like we started a new song, and then he was like, let's make a TikTok. And then we like put the phone up and we did like a little Send Your Loving teaser. But then like maybe like 2 months or a month or so, and I had gone, and I was like, oh, like he might not do it, he's busy. So I kept that TikTok. I was waiting, and then he sent it to me, and I was like, oh my god, okay, it's actually happening. It's actually happening.
Crazy.
So that was insane, because obviously I really want to connect to my French side, but it's a bit hard when you're living here.
Yeah.
And that was just like, I had so many French people following me and DMing me, and like then they saw my French TikTok and they were like, oh my god, she speaks French, and I was like, yeah, this is just perfect.
So have you got plans to release music in French? Like, is that coming?
I think later on. Okay. I think because I just don't want to confuse people.
Like, you're building your audience here.
Yeah, like I want to be like, just focus on my R&B, and like, of course I will do French music, maybe like here and there, but for now, not yet. Yeah, not yet.
And obviously, like you did your vocal sessions and stuff like that, so it's like, it's confusing and a lot to
there's a
try
lot
to do in French as well. I can imagine.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just been like amazing to hear your whole story, like
thank you,
since I met you and like to what it's become now. What would you say like your advice would be to your 20-year-old self, of like, if you could go back and maybe do anything better, or like have you got any regrets? Like, what would you advise like other upcoming artists?
Go with your gut, like for everything. Like what you usually think first is probably what is the best for you. Like when I was younger, I used to think, oh, I'd love to be a singer, but I can't. Like, no, like you can. And then like even like overthinking songs, like Send Your Loving, I didn't like it until other people liked it, and it's like, I shouldn't need that. I should just go with my gut. Also, like I said, you just can't care about what people think, and you can't care about people's perception of you, because some people are going to love it and some people are not, and like some people love Send Your Loving and some people don't, and like when things go viral or like do well on TikTok, you get all the bad comments too, and it's fine, like it's actually good for you that people are seeing it. And like when people started using the sound and stuff, like that was the most amazing feeling. I didn't care about anything else, so I was like, I have to keep doing these cringy TikToks. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, focus on the people that love it. Like the rest
and like
doesn't really matter.
You just can't overthink things and care what people think. You can't.
Love that. That's the energy we need for this year.
I need to like put that.
Tell yourself
that
all the time. Like remind
all the
yourself.
Time. Yeah.
So what's next? Like, what should we look out for? What are you excited about?
So I've got a new song finally. Everyone's like, new music, please. Called Selfish. It's coming next week. I'm really excited about this song because it's not like, it's a little bit different. Like, it's different to Send Your Loving because I was scared about doing the same thing twice. And like I was also scared about people saying this isn't the same. But I'm like, I need to show people that I can do different types of R&B and like it can be a bit more modern. And this one, yeah, it's just, I just love the song. Like sometimes it's just as simple as that. I love it, so hopefully other people will love it. And
you're trusting your gut and you're going with what you want to do.
Because already for like a couple of months now I've been like, what do I release? Because I don't know which direction to go in. But then I was like, just stop overthinking it. Just release what you love. So yeah, got a new song called Selfish.
9 o'clock and I'm at home. Call her unknown. Send 50 messages, pick up your phone.
That's everything for today.
Yeah.
It's been a great chat and I hope that we can catch up again. Super excited for Selfish, see where that goes.
Thank you. And obviously more music.
Of course, more music, more shows, more videos.
Yes, exactly.
Do you want to just tell everyone watching your socials where we can keep up with you?
So you can find me on Instagram, Ama Louise 1, TikTok, Ama Louise 99, and Ama Louise on all streaming platforms. So yeah, stream my music.